Hello, welcome. We're going to work on the outside of our new album, and it is featuring Stamperia's Master of Magic collection, and I've got it kind of laid out the way I'm hoping it's going to look. So let's start with this piece on the back. This is coming, I'm using both the 22 maxi pad as well as the core package, and this is a piece that has this across the top of it, and this is over here. So when you cut this lengthwise, you're going to hold on to the piece you cut off because you're going to trim it down because we're going to put this on the spine. Hold on to this because we're going to use this using it in a different direction for something else. And then I'm just leaving the back alone. I think it's pretty just the way that it is. And then you have the pipes and the gears over there. So that's what that's going to look like. And then here's the spine that comes in next to it. So this is all cut from one piece. This is a separate piece that's out of the 22 maxi pad, I think. Hold on. Yes, because it's white on the back. And what it looks, so this is the composition I'm going to go for, but what it looks like without all of this on here is it looks just like this. Let's get the butterfly out of there. Now you know I'm going to lose half this stuff, so I'm going to take a moment and pick it up and move it out of the way. All right. So what I did on this piece, so that it wasn't an intrusive cut, I cut right up this pipe right here, and then I came across, and then I started cutting around the image all the way around until I got back to here. And then I use standard tape and tape these two pieces back together again. I mounted this on a lightweight, I want to call it chipboard, but it's actually cereal box material. And then I put some heavier chipboard so that I can raise it, so I've got a little bit of a raised element going on here. I've inked the edges with black soot, which reminds me I didn't finish inking. I'm a bad girl. So give me just a second. So you'll want to get that trimmed out. Now, if you are not a fussy cutter and you don't want to trim him out and raise him up so that there's some elevation, that's perfectly fine. Just, you know, if you want to just follow the design the way that I have it and not cut it, it's your album. I like to play with raised elements. I'm using black soot for inking the edges. And I am going to ink on this album all the way through because the main paper, what I call the core pack of paper, it doesn't have a white seam, but this does, which is out of that 22 pack. So I want to hide the seam on that. So I'm playing, I cut this out. This little guy right here came off the front of one of the packs. Let me see if I can find it. Came off the core pack, off the front. Let me grab it so I can show you where it came from. So it came from right here. So I just cut it and I cut him out. He's going to go on the bottom. I've got a mess here now. He's going to go on the bottom of the spine, just down here in the lower part of it, because I really don't want to cover up any of this up here. So he's going to go down here across the bottom on the spine. All right, so then I've already pre-glued the small filigree. There is a cutout sheet of cards it looks like this. And across the bottom of the card are these 3 circled elements. So I cut them all out. And I am using, it's a real deep wine. It's called Claret cardstock to back the paper and to embellish, as you can see that I've already done here. It's a beautiful warm color. I got this from cardstockwarehouse.com. It's called Claret. You're only going to need about 2 sheets of it, maybe 3, and you can buy single sheets from them. But it is such a beautiful color that you could pick up the 25 sheet pack and then have it for future crafts if you so want to. But if you don't want to go to their website, do get a nice warm, beautiful wine colored cardstock for embellishing. We're going to play with these later. I'm just going to set them aside. So that's what I've got this backed up against right now, is that Claret. And then this is going to go against the black that we're using on the album. So they're all going to stand out quite nicely. So this is popped up. It's been inked. I am putting the Master of Magic here at the top. I am putting a butterfly here. On where those 3 circles were at the bottom of the cards, there were some hearts. I've cut several of those out and I'm going to line them here. And I am putting one up here. And then I went into the, oh, there's the other one. So I'll put, oh, that was going to go in here. So I went into the ephemera pack, and these are the pieces I pulled out. I pulled out the smaller one of the dahlia with the gears. I pulled out the hourglass. I pulled out several images of the mushrooms, and their stems go 2 different ways. So you'll want to make sure that you're picking up, because you're going to have 2 that are going to go this way, and then you're going to have one that's going to go this way. It's going to come down here in the corner. This dahlia here, I'm replacing it with one of the ephemera, and I've popped it up. So again, there's a little bit of a height. And then this is going to go over here. It's going to go over here as high as you can get it. And then I know this is horrible to say, but we're going to cover a portion of this. We're going to take this and we're going to come down here across the bottom. And then I have a larger leaf out of the ephemera that I'm going to come in right behind here. I have a smaller leaf. I'm going to come in here. And then over here, I've taken, there's some ephemera floral, and I am going to place them one right here, and then I'm going to take and place the other one right here. Now from the little baggie of goodies that I got, I'm going to place this half moon right here, so it's kind of circling around that card, and then I have a floral piece that I'm going to be putting down here. Now I'm popping these rings off. They're not that hard to do, but if I'm not going to string them, I don't want those on there. So I am just twist them a little bit. There we go. So that's the composition. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start by putting the claret colored cardstock down, and then we will build up to all the paper. We'll get our ribbon in, which is a deep wine. I do sell this on my Etsy site. It's 50 cents a yard if you want to swing on over there. And let's go ahead And let's grab our album. I'm going to set this aside because I'm still waiting for the glue to dry there. So we're going to work on the back. This is my front. And this is my back. Oh, I just realized I did something goofy. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll show you here in a second. So we're going to come about halfway, which is about 4.5 inches. And I did this, what I'm doing right now, I did to the Claret cardstock. I forgot kind of where I was. Not where I intended it to be, but that's okay. I will use the tape anyway. So at about 4.5 inches, I'm coming in about 1/4 inch because I don't want the tape to show on the end when you're working the ribbon, because if you come all the way to the end and that ribbon's pulled back, you can actually see the gum of the tape, and I don't like that. So we're going to put the ribbon on first. I think it's dry. I used fabric glue to seal the ends so that they don't what do you call it? Not the word, not shred, but that's what they're doing. They're shredding. It'll come to me. Okay, we're going to work on the back. So we're going to see what I did. That was supposed to be this. Silly, silly me. I could just turn it over and use it that way. Now I need to verify which direction is up on this. I think this is actually the way I want it to go. That's it, but I've labeled that. I've cut this really close to the edge so that just a little bit of the black will show. And I'm trying to do a dry fit before I run a bunch of tape on it. Because if I have to trim it, I don't want to have to trim off tape. I don't have to. Okay. Let's put this on here. So I'm going to be very mindful of where I'm at, top to bottom. Excuse my head, I apologize. But I'm making this a very tight fit. The album measures right at 9 inches. I have cut this piece at 8 7/8 by 8 7/8 square. So that's what I mean by I've got myself a tight fit here. I'm just going to leave this tape. All right, now we're going to put this on, and I'm going to tape it as well simply because it's a large piece and I don't want to have the glue dry out before I get it done. So bear with me. So you can see this is out of the core pack, what I call the core pack. Oh no, that's out, this is out of the patterns, double-sided patterns. So I'm going to come in here. I've left myself about 1/16 of an edge of the claret cardstock. I like my cardstock to be kind of an accent in the background and the paper be the focal point. But if your preference is to use larger amounts of cardstock, it's your album. All right, let's scoot on over here. Let's set the spine piece. It's small enough I can glue it in. Now this piece, you know, the original piece that we cut here was 1 7/8, but by the time you get this hinge in here, you pick up 1/8 of an inch. So I did cut this cardstock at 2 inches by 8 7/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to very carefully, in fact, I think I'm just going to pick this up a little bit so I can bend the edges. I'm going to come in here and place this so that it is as even as I can get it. I apologize, that was probably right in your face. And then we're gonna, I like this side too, but it doesn't go with the flow. Then we'll take this little cute fox. We're just going to set him just a little bit off the bottom. All right, so there we are. We are done with the back and the spine. So let's move on to our main piece. Ta-da! So again, this is going to be a nice tight fit. I want the claret to be more the focus and the black in the background. varnish. All right. We're going to take the centerpiece out. I put that in there to keep it from popping up and down. And it also allows me to secure this piece so that it stays in place. All right, so let's come in here. Kind of moving this all around again. I just hope I can get it all back where I want it to be. All right, so this has been trimmed out. And I know one thing I'm going to do. I am going to, hate to waste the undo, but there's a reason for this. I'll show you here in a second. Okay, so when I put this down here, I was seeing the tape coming through here, and because this is elevated off the paper, I do not want that tape to be seen back there, so that's why I ended up taking that off. Otherwise, it would have just gone right over it. Okay, so this is going to go down. I'm going to put tape around the perimeter, but then I'm going to come in here with glue around these edges so that these stay down against the paper. And I went in here with a little tiny sponge. It's one of Tim Holtz's, and I inked the edges with some black soot. So I'm going to put the tape on first. It'll be easier to do. And again, if you do not want to cut the box out and elevate it, you do not have to. All right, I'm gonna bring this back to me. So I'm now gonna glue around all these little features. And I don't care if this glue spills into the cut spot because our glitter glue dries clear, so I'm not worrying about it. Okay. All right, so for everything to work, I need to put this guy back in first. So I'm gonna put some glue on his chipboard features. And then we will very carefully drop him right back in where he came out of. Okay, so the next feature that's really going to have a lot of control for spacing is going to be this guy. So he's going to come in right here, but I want to put one of the hearts under here before I do. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, put it there, and then we're going to glue this. I'm really sad there's no title page where you've got quotes and sayings and the such. All right, so that's on. Now the next big piece is going to be this, the hourglass, and there is a clock that goes on the bottom, and then the azalea goes up on the top. So I am going to try and remove this. I always struggle with getting these backs pulled off. And now we're going to set this up here as far as we can. In fact, I'm touching that so that we can take advantage of as much. We're going to end up covering a good portion of this, but I want to get as much of it as we can. So then this floral, and there is a mushroom right here, and then this floral, there's two petals here that I'm centering that mushroom on. I'm going to come up underneath of here with that leaf, and then I'm going to come over here with this leaf. So now I'm going to lift this because it's important I put these back where they need it to be. So I'm going to put my pointer right here so I know where I need it to go. Because I have a short memory, it seems anymore. There we go. So I wanted this to come in here right about here. And then I want this one. Sometimes I think I'm better off just to glue the backs of these and not worry about taking the tape off, because they are hard to pull off of this, and I don't know why. And maybe it's just me. Okay, so then this is going to go like this. All right. Once again, well, come on. I almost got you started. There we go. Well, it's going to come off in pieces. There we got a big one. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on here, and with this V in here is where I wanted to bring in and focus on that mushroom stem. And then I've got this little azalea petal. I put a pop-up on it, and I'm going to replace what's over here. And then we have, oh, that came off nice and easy. We have a butterfly that I'm going to put, just set it up there any old place. And then we have, I'm going to put this heart in here, and I've got these two hearts that I cut out off of the piece that the circled items that this came off of. I just fussy cut them out, and we're going to just stick them over here. And I'm going to mount that one right there. And we're going to tuck this one under him. Come here. So I am going to see if these are worth the hassle or if I'm just going to glue them down. Oh, it wants to come off. Yay! So here is the bigger of the mushrooms. And its stem is going this way, so I'm going to put the small mushroom. Oh, that's splitting. Gosh darn it. I'm just going to come in, snuggle up. I'm going to layer it over just a little bit. And then I have the one mushroom that I want to put here on the other side. If that does it again, I'm just going to glue it down. It's splitting just under, you know what, I'm not going to mess with this one. It's splitting just under the tape backing. Untuck that a little bit behind that flower. And then I had these little flowers, gold flowers, and I was putting one here, and I was going to put the other one here. And I'm not going to mess with trying to take the tape off, the paper off the tape, off the back. I'm just going to glue them in. They're small enough. Okay. Now the only thing I have left to add is my moon that I wanted to put up here. It's going to be a little bit tricky because there's not a lot of surface to it. So I'm going to be getting my fingers gooey and my paper probably full saturated. And then I have this brass flower. Remember, I cut the top of it off. I can set it here. I can set it here. I could set it over here, and you know what? I'm kind of liking that. So I'm going to put my little brass flower over here. A dauble of glossy accents. And down it goes. Okay, so we have our album composition done. So there's the front. Oh my gosh, I just saw that. Oh, I'm glad I caught that when I did. That was a big old daub of glossy accents. Gotta make sure I didn't get it on the back, but I do have it there. How did that happen? I must have been flinging it around. Okay, we got our little accents through here. We've got this little card down here, and then we've got this nice back here. Now, This piece I told you to save and set aside. So what I want you to do with it, oh good Lord. I have glossy accent everywhere. Okay, so these pieces right here in the album, just this side of your hinge and this side of the paper hinge, and then these two here, the center, and then again this edge, the center, and here, we're going to cut from this. And you're going to cut it so that this comes from the back going forward. So you're going to start your cuts at 3/8 of an inch, then you're going to go to a 1/2 inch and 3/8 for each section all the way through. If you end up not having enough, and that's why I wanted the bulk of this to the back, you've got this piece that you could trim out on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine all trimmed out and inked, and I will have them in place when we come back for the next video. So until then, bye-bye.